Corsican sun, already a burning orb in the cerulean sky, cast long, distorted shadows across the tarmac of Borgo Airfield. It was the morning of July 31st, 1944. The air hung thick with the metallic tang of aviation fuel, the crisp scent of pine, and an undercurrent of nervous anticipation. Ground crews moved with practiced efficiency around the sleek, silver behemoths of the Lockheed P-38 Lightnings, their twin engines a promise of speed and formidable power. For one pilot, the rhythmic thrum of the idling engines was more than just noise. It was a symphony that resonated deep within his soul, a call to the boundless expanse above. He climbed into the cramped cockpit of his F-5B, a specialized reconnaissance variant. The familiar scent of leather and oil a comforting embrace. His hands, gnarled and experienced, settled on the controls. At 44 years old, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was older than most combat pilots, his face etched with the lines of a man who had seen much of the world, both from the air and through the prism of profound thought. His gaze swept over the instrument panel, a brief, silent communion with the complex machinery that would carry him into the heavens, and perhaps beyond. This particular morning, the stakes were impossibly high. The Allied forces were poised on the cusp of the monumental invasion of southern France, Operation Dragoon. For the invasion to succeed, precise and timely intelligence was paramount, an unblinking eye over enemy movements in the Rhone Valley. Saint-Exupéry's mission was critical. A high-altitude photographic reconnaissance flight over the heavily fortified German positions around Grenoble and Annecy. He was to gather the aerial photographs that would guide the liberation, a silent warrior armed not with bombs, but with a camera and an unwavering spirit. He was not merely a pilot, he was a living legend, a pioneer of aviation whose name was synonymous with daring long-distance flights across continents and oceans. But more than that, he was a celebrated author, a literary giant whose words had touched millions, articulating the profound solitude and exhilaration of the skies. His tales of courageous male pilots battling storms and deserts, and his philosophical musings on humanity's place in the universe had earned him global renown. He embodied a unique blend of rugged adventurer and introspective poet, a man whose hands could wrestle a plane through a tempest and then pen verses that stirred the soul. The air for Saint-Exupéry had always represented freedom, a canvas for both his physical prowess and his boundless imagination. From his early days flying mail routes over the Sahara, he had embraced the sky not as a mere medium of travel, but as a crucible of character, a place where the true essence of man was tested and revealed. His writings frequently explored the profound bond between man and machine, the responsibility inherent in flight, and the fragile beauty of life observed from above. He believed that only by facing the vastness of the unknown could one truly appreciate the intricate details of existence on solid ground. Yet this profound connection to the sky was now entwined with the brutal realities of war. The romantic ideal of aviation had been twisted into a tool of destruction and intelligence gathering, where the beauty of flight was overshadowed by the omnipresent threat of anti-aircraft fire and enemy fighters. Saint-Exupéry, despite his age and a series of past accidents, had fought relentlessly to return to active duty, driven by a deep sense of patriotic duty and an unshakable belief that his unique skills could still contribute to the Allied cause. His fellow pilots, often half his age, revered him, not just for his fame, but for his quiet determination and the almost mystical aura that surrounded him. His love for the sky, a vast and glorious realm of blue and white, stood in stark contrast to the unforgiving mechanical reality of his aircraft. The P-38 Lightning, with its sleek, twin-boom design, was a marvel of engineering, a fast and formidable machine. Yet Saint-Exupéry's particular F-5B was known to be temperamental, an older model prone to glitches and malfunctions. His peers and commanders harbored genuine concerns about his age and health, especially after a serious crash just a month prior. They saw a man whose body bore the scars of a lifetime of adventure, now battling the very limits of human endurance against the advanced, merciless war technology of the Third Reich. He saw the raw, unfiltered reality of war through his reconnaissance lens, documenting the scars it left on the earth. He understood the profound chasm between the noble ideals he often wrote about and the grim, desperate struggle unfolding beneath his wings. This mission, like so many others, was a dangerous gamble, a solitary dance between the frail beauty of human aspiration and the cold, indifferent hand of fate. He knew the risks intimately, having narrowly escaped death countless times throughout his career. Yet, the call of duty, and perhaps the irresistible pull of the unknown, drove him forward into the vast, silent expanse of the morning sky. His expectation was simple: to complete the mission, to capture the vital photographs, and to return. His unwavering belief in the human spirit, a cornerstone of his literary works, imbued him with an almost spiritual sense of purpose. He anticipated the intricate ballet of navigating enemy airspace, the precise maneuvers required to avoid detection, and the solitary satisfaction of a job well done. He envisioned the moment of debriefing, the images laid out, contributing a small yet significant piece to the grand mosaic of the war effort. He flew with the hope of contributing to a better world, a world where the principles he championed in his stories might one day flourish. The reality, however, was far more brutal and utterly silent. He faced the invisible lines of enemy radar, the lurking danger of unseen fighter patrols, and the ever-present threat of mechanical failure in the unforgiving realm of the upper atmosphere. The vastness of the sea, which he would traverse, represented both the freedom he cherished and the ultimate unknown, a realm where even the most accomplished aviator could simply vanish without a trace. His aging body, though animated by an unyielding will, was still subject to the immense G-forces and the physical strain of high-altitude flight. This mission was not just about aerial photography. It was a profound personal test against the stark, indifferent forces of nature and war. The P-38 Lightning, a marvel of wartime engineering, had lifted off from Borgo, Corsica, at 8:45 that fateful morning. Saint-Exupéry was cleared for a 6-hour reconnaissance flight, tasked with photographing the Rhone Valley, specifically the regions around Grenoble and Annecy. These targets lay deep within German-occupied France, making the mission inherently perilous. The F-5B variant he piloted carried no armament, its twin booms housing not machine guns, but sophisticated cameras designed to capture the vital intelligence needed for the impending invasion. His vulnerability was absolute, relying solely on speed and evasion to survive. His last radio contact was a routine check-in, a brief affirmation of his position, before he vanished into the silent expanse of the Mediterranean sky. When he failed to return at the expected time, anxiety rippled through Borgo Airfield. Extensive search and rescue operations were immediately launched, scouring the vast blue waters and the rugged coastlines, but no trace of the celebrated pilot or his aircraft could be found. The radio waves remained stubbornly silent, offering no distress signal, no final words, only the deafening void of the unknown. His disappearance quickly became one of the war's most poignant and enduring mysteries, fueling decades of speculation and sorrow. Decades passed, and the mystery of Saint-Exupéry's fate remained unsolved, a persistent ache in the collective memory of France and the world. Theories abounded: mechanical failure, oxygen deprivation, a mid-air collision, or perhaps shot down by an enemy fighter. Each theory offered a potential explanation, but lacked definitive proof, leaving an open wound of uncertainty for his family and countless admirers. The legend of the lost aviator, forever soaring into the azure, only grew with each passing year, cementing his place in history as much for his enigmatic end as for his literary brilliance. Then, in 1998, a fisherman named Jean-Claude Bianco made an astonishing discovery off the coast of Marseille. Tangled in his nets, retrieved from the deep, was a tarnished silver identification bracelet. Inscribed on it were the names Antoine, Consuelo, his wife, and C.O. Reynal and Hitchcock, 386 4th Avenue. NYC, his American publisher. The emotional weight of this small artifact was immense. It was unequivocally Saint-Exupéry's, a tangible link to the man whose fate had been shrouded in mystery for so long. The bracelet was a silent whisper from the depths, suggesting that his final resting place was indeed the sea. This remarkable find galvanized new search efforts. In 2000, a diver named Luc Van Rel, drawn by the allure of the bracelet's location, discovered fragmented wreckage of a Lockheed P-38 Lightning near Riou Island, off the coast of Marseille, at a depth of nearly 70 meters. The initial excitement was tempered by caution. Many P-38s had been lost in the Mediterranean. However, meticulous examination of the recovered parts, especially the serial number from a supercharger, confirmed the unimaginable. These were the remnants of Saint-Exupéry's aircraft, the exact F-5B that had departed Borgo 56 years earlier. The confirmation in 2004 finally brought a measure of closure, transforming a myth into a tragic historical fact. Even after the discovery, the precise circumstances of his crash remained a subject of intense historical debate. The wreckage itself offered clues, but no definitive answers regarding the cause. There were no obvious signs of catastrophic damage consistent with an explosion or a direct hit from anti-aircraft fire, though interpreting such evidence from decades-old fragmented debris was challenging. The prevailing theories still ranged from mechanical failure, possibly related to the aircraft's known issues, to the possibility of combat. The vastness of the ocean had preserved the secret of his final moments, only yielding scattered fragments to hint at the truth. In 2008, a new and compelling piece of evidence emerged. A former Luftwaffe pilot, Horst Rippert, came forward, claiming he had shot down a P-38 Lightning over the Mediterranean on July 31, 1944. Rippert, an accomplished ace, recounted spotting a lone Allied reconnaissance aircraft and engaging it. He stated he aimed for the wings, observing the plane go down into the sea. When he later learned of Saint-Exupéry's disappearance, he kept silent, deeply respectful of the author's legacy. While his account lacked independent corroboration and the specific details of the P-38's fate remained somewhat ambiguous, Rippert's testimony provided the most credible explanation to date for the loss of the legendary Aviator, adding a final, somber chapter to the enduring mystery. The discovery of the wreckage and, more profoundly, the silver identification bracelet irrevocably altered the narrative of Saint-Exupéry's disappearance. For over half a century, his fate had existed as an ethereal enigma, a symbol of the war's countless unknowns and the vast, indifferent power of the sea. His admirers had imagined him simply vanishing into the heavens, perhaps embarking on a final, epic journey to his own Little Prince's asteroid. The tangible evidence, however, grounded his end in the harsh reality of World War II, bringing his story from the realm of pure myth to a more concrete, albeit tragic, historical record. The transformation was deeply personal for those who loved him. His wife, Consuelo, had lived out her days clinging to the hope of his return, never fully accepting his loss. The discovery, years after her own passing, offered a retroactive sense of closure, confirming her husband's final resting place and the nature of his sacrifice. For the literary world, the findings reinforced the profound link between his life, his art, and his ultimate destiny. The adventurous spirit he immortalized in his books was proven to be not just a narrative device, but an intrinsic part of his very being, leading him to his final, solitary flight. The shift from an open-ended mystery to a partially understood event also had a broader impact on how Saint-Exupéry was perceived. He was no longer just the author who disappeared, but the courageous pilot who died in the line of duty, his final moments spent serving his country. The wreckage, retrieved from the deep, became an artifact of immense historical and emotional significance, a physical testament to his commitment and the brutal cost of war. It offered a profound, if somber, understanding of his final chapter, solidifying his legacy as both an artist and a warrior. Throughout the decades of speculation, amidst the swirling theories of his disappearance, that silver identification bracelet stood as a quiet yet persistent echo of a life lived with extraordinary passion and purpose. Lost in the depths for over 50 years, then suddenly returned to the light, it became the central symbol of Saint-Exupéry's story, a profound link between his public persona and his deeply personal existence. It bore the names that mattered most to him: his own, his beloved wife Consuelo's, and the mark of his literary connection in New York. This small, unpretentious piece of metal embodied the enduring power of human connection, the persistence of memory, and the intimate details that remain even when the grandest narratives fade. The bracelet, found nestled amidst the silent corals, spoke volumes without uttering a single word. It represented the unyielding desire for identity and remembrance in the face of oblivion. Its tarnished surface, weathered by the relentless embrace of the sea, mirrored the passage of time and the erosion of hope that had afflicted those who searched for him. Yet, its very presence, recovered from the abyss, offered a defiant counterpoint to despair, a tangible piece of proof that even the vastness of the ocean could not completely erase a life's indelible mark. It was a fragment of his world, returned to ours, bridging the chasm between the known and the eternally unknown. More than just a personal artifact, the bracelet also symbolized the deep, universal human need for closure, for a physical trace that anchors memory. It became a beacon in the darkness of an unsolved mystery, drawing searchers closer to the truth. Its rediscovery was a testament to the persistent human spirit, mirroring Saint-Exupéry's own relentless pursuit of meaning and adventure. This humble object, carried by him on his final flight, now served as a powerful reminder that even in the most monumental battles, amidst the roar of engines and the chaos of war, the most profound stories are often found in the small, intimate details that connect us all. It was the enduring whisper of a lost hero, finally breaking the silence of the deep. The story of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the aviator and the author, transcends the mere facts of his disappearance and subsequent discovery. It stands as a poignant testament to the human spirit's unyielding pursuit of purpose, even in the face of overwhelming odds. His final flight, a silent journey into the vastness of the Mediterranean, encapsulates the very essence of courage, sacrifice, and the eternal quest for understanding that defines us. Through his life and his words, he taught us to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, the profound beauty in the ephemeral, and the enduring strength of connection amidst separation. His legacy, now enriched by the final, confirmed chapter of his fate, continues to inspire generations, inviting us to look up at the stars and down at the vast, mysterious waters with renewed wonder. The remnants of his aircraft, retrieved from the sea, are not merely pieces of metal. They are relics of a life lived fully, a life that dared to soar and to question, to write and to fight. For us at Stories from the Battlefield, Saint-Exupéry's tale is a powerful reminder that even in loss, there can be discovery. In silence, there can be revelation. And in the depths of history, the most human stories continue to echo, guiding us towards universal truths about resilience, remembrance, and the enduring, fragile beauty of existence. His journey may have ended in the deep, but his spirit continues its eternal flight, touching the hearts and minds of all who dare to dream.